Hello. I would like to read to you a story. Once there was a teapot that had a chip in it. Its family members did not approve of this, so they sent the teapot away. The teapot looked this way and that, trying to find where it fit in, but to no avail. One day, the teapot found itself waddling down an old beaten cobble street as it started to pour a heavy rain. The teapot felt so cold and unloved. Full of rain water, it started to overflow into the teapot's tears. Then it spotted a door in the grassy ground off to the side of the road. Shivering, it knocked on the door. An old elephant answered from the other side. "What do you want?" he grouchily said. "A place to stay," murmured the teapot in a sob. "You can stay here on one condition," said the elephant. "You allow me to brew in you some hot tea and drink to my heart's desire." "Yes, I would be honored," spoke the teapot. So in they went. The room inside was cozy and warmly lit, a bit small for an elephant. "It does the trick," said the elephant, referring to the room. "Now, about that tea." The elephant proceeded to brew some tea in the little teapot. As it poured the water into it, it began to leak out. "Now, that's no good," exclaimed the elephant. "How did that happen?" "I don't remember," replied the teapot. "I've had it ever since I was little." "No matter. We'll get you fixed up," said the elephant. In no time, although the patch job wasn't perfect, the teapot was fully functional. As the elephant poured the tea in this time, it held nicely. "Thank you," exclaimed the teapot. "Don't mention it," the elephant replied. "How did you do that?" "A few years of being a tea enthusiast does the trick," replied the elephant. "If only I could do the same thing for my broken heart." "How on earth did that break?" asked the teapot. "By losing the only thing that ever mattered to me, my wife," replied the elephant. "After she left this plane of existence, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the will to continue the work of my normal day-to-day life. With her gone and me in grief, there wasn't enough money to maintain our nice, spacious elephant home. in the mountains, complete with glass windows and plenty of sunlight. Oh, on and on. I mean to say, oh, and an unbeatable view. The elephant took a sip from the teapot's rim. The elephant's trunk tickled the teapot, and it gave a giggle. What's so funny? Growled the elephant. It's nothing. It's just I've never been sipped from before, said the teapot with a slight blush. Oh, well, if that's all. Anyways, I had to sell the place. That's what broke my heart. It was like losing the last piece of her, of our life together, that I had. That's when I moved into this cramped space and made it my own. I've been drinking tea here ever since. The elephant let out a long, breathy sigh, as though tired beyond their years. I want to help you, said the teapot in a soft voice. I think I know how to get you your space back. How? Sneered the elephant. By starting a tea-serving... by starting a tea-serving business, cried the teapot. That's preposterous. I haven't spoken to anyone in years, much less the people in this town. I keep to myself, and that's that, retaliated the elephant. But I can help you there, cried the teapot with more surety than it knew it had within itself. Oh, really? And how would you do that? Would you change me to become an unbroken, happy, charming go-getter? Fat chance, shot elephant. I don't need to. I can speak to the people, exclaimed Teapot. Well, you are the first talking teapot to enter my humble abode. I guess that idea hadn't dawned on me. Give it a try, encouraged the teapot. I guess it doesn't hurt in trying. Why not? Said the elephant. Hooray! Cheered the teapot. Together, they formulated plans on how to fix up the place and make it a comforting tea house. Elephant insisted there was much to be done, too much for him to do on his own. But Teapot said that the atmosphere was cozy and perfect as it is, tumbled books and all. Eventually, Elephant caved and decided Teapot was right. In just a short week, they opened up for business. Business started off at a standstill. An occasional traveler would pass by, at which point Teapot would shout, "Hello, tally-ho!" from the now refurbished counter doortop. But to no avail. Let's face it, this whole idea is a bust, whimpered Elephant as he sipped tea from Teapot, sulking. No, it's not, stammered Teapot. Because tomorrow I'm going into town to find us customers. Good luck with that, chuckled Elephant. What's so funny? Asked Teapot. Well, the people in town know about me already. I've kind of built up the reputation of being a good-for-nothing hermit, if you couldn't already tell, said the Elephant. Yes, but what you have to offer, your tea collection, it's absolutely stupendous, Teapot said. Yeah? You think so? Asked Elephant incredulously. I know so. I used to read about my family's tea lineage. We used to take great pride in our teas. I don't know why they stopped, but many of the teas that made us our fortune, you've steeped in me. Well, I guess we better hope the people in town know a thing or two about tea, sighed Elephant again. What are the chances? Quite good, I think, blurted Teapot. The next morning, at the crack of dawn, Teapot meandered into town. There they found a diner. They went inside. They went up to the counter and politely asked, May I make an announcement about a grand, cozy, up-and-coming tea shop? It's your funeral, replied the zebra at the counter. People here only like coffee and orange juice. Teapot paid no mind to this. Feeling fairly confident, Teapot tapped a sugar spoon against its side. Salutations and good morning, my fellow comrades. I am delighted to share some good news. Our town now has a tea house in the outskirts. We serve the finest variety of loose-leaf teas, whose lineage can be traced back to the legendary teas of old. The crowd were being like crickets, save for someone who gave a single awkward cough. We don't drink tea, someone shouted from cupped hands from the audience. Teapot thought on their foot. Well, now is a good day to start. Someone else from the audience shouted, Nice patch job. You look like you leak like a faucet. Why would anyone want something from you? Why would anyone want you? I don't think. Oh, no. Why would anyone want to drink from you? I don't think today is a good day to start after all. Everyone started to laugh. Almost everyone started to laugh. Teapots started to feel weak and began to water from their spout. I don't leak like a faucet. I've been patched up good by Elephant. That old hermit? What an old sad fart! People were hooting and hollering now. Teapot was feeling a shift up in gears for the waterworks, as well as a shift up in gears of despair. For a moment, all hope seemed lost. Then, a furnace of rage began building inside Teapot. How could they say such things about Ellie? What did they know? How could they be allowed to be so ignorantly mean? The answer was, they couldn't. There was no way Teapot was going to let them get away with that. The furnace of rage turned into heat. The heat began to boil the water inside Teapot. Soon Teapot was screaming. The room fell silent. You don't know the first thing about Elephant. How dare you? He showed kindness to me when no one else could. He patched me up. And yeah, maybe I don't look like a perfect little teapot like all the rest. Maybe I am different. Maybe Elephant is different. Maybe we have flaws. But that doesn't make us any worse or lesser. In fact, it makes us special and unique. I used to feel bad about myself and how I was different. But now, I wouldn't change a single thing about me. I'm glad I'm different. Because it's helped to make me who I am. I may have defects, but I also have wonderful qualities too. And so does Elephant. And if you judge a book by its cover before you sit down and sip some tea to read it, then you are missing out on some rich depth in life. And I feel sorry for you. Go back to your coffee, folks. Nothing to see here. Just an overly dramatic teapot. Disgruntled, yet slightly shaken faces turned to their food, eyes drooping down, and proceeded to ignore the mighty Teapot. Teapot didn't care, for Teapot had found an inner flame inside it that they had never known before. With spout tilted high, Teapot sighed. It was not the kind of sigh that was one of defeat. Rather, it was the sigh of relief, of finding oneself. Then, out from the corner of the room, Teapot noticed someone shifting out of their seat and approaching. Hi, my name is Alan. I was moved by your speech. My father owns the one and only tea house in town, and we would love to have you and your friend aboard our team. Really? Gasped Teapot, dumbfounded. Yes, really, Alan chuckled. You would be a great addition to our family. Family? Teapot couldn't believe the words they were hearing. So what do you say? Asked Alan. Well, what do I say? I say I'm in, said Teapot. For the first time in their life, Teapot found themselves both excited and calm at the same time. It took some convincing, but eventually Elephant was on board with the plan too. Elephant and Teapot began to find meaningful work in the town tea house, and with it, a new sense of family. To the end of their days, Teapot and Elephant remained the dearest of friends. In time, Elephant was able to mend their wounded heart. Not completely, but well enough. With the newfound expertise of Elephant and the awakened self-assurance of Teapot, the tea house became a steeping success. The diner folks even began going there. Elephant caught scent of their ill speech to Teapot and was stubborn in not letting them in, but Teapot insisted on forgiveness. Reluctantly, Elephant agreed. On Ellie's 50th birthday, the town celebrated in a surprise party by renovating Ellie's home to be elephant-friendly. The new stories of window-filled rooms allowed the distant mountains and plains to be seen from the top, a detail implemented courtesy of the advice of Teapot. Together, they all lived happy to the end of their days. And if you can see here, this is the final picture right there. So that's their house right there. Here's Teapot steeping tea and Elephant. Together, best friends forever. And then there's the town and some mountains in the distance. Thank you for listening.